Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another regular season game between your Moncton Thunderbirds and the visiting Western Rebels of Prince Edward Island. I believe the last time we played the Western Rebels was in Tyne Valley PEI. I think that one ended up like a 6-4 outcome in the home team's favor there as the Rebels took the W that night, but definitely lots of physicality during that game, and no reason to think it's going to be any different here tonight as Walsh steps into the circle to take this draw. He's got Beliveau out there as well as Copage with him up front. Laird and Zvoneveld on the blue line. Zvoneveld chips it up the wall into the zone, and now the Rebels will be back to pick it up. Beliveau in on the forecheck, breaks up that exit pass as Walsh goes to the wall with his man. Rebels are able to chip it across the zone, not out here now as they'll look up ice. The tip over center will put it down in behind the goal line as Laird will reverse over to Zvoneveld. Mason Zvoneveld up the middle. Untouched as icing's waved off. And the Rebels regroup in their own zone. Rebels little D-to-D action there as Connor Walsh finishes his hit in the corner. Rebels dump it in behind the net of Zachary David, who will be between the pipes today. As Rebels peel it off the wall, centering attempt, broken up there on the way to the net. Ward Levi picks it up here now. He chips it out to center to Matthew Cormier. Cormier connects with Finney over center as he'll fire that into the far corner. Ward Levi in on the forecheck here now. He's trying to force a turnover here as the Rebels do regroup, and they'll break out over center. They dump it into the zone high as that'll rim around. And now they double it back here. Finney heading into the corner with, now ends up onto the stick of Cormier, and now Finney as he's under pressure. Shaw through traffic, kick save there. Another kick save as the boys just trying to settle things down here and get a hang of it as it's dumped down deep. Boudreau tries to work it up the wall. It's held in there by the Rebels as Finney will chip it back the other way. Rebels control down low here. Shediak steps in, takes his man out as he'll peel that puck up the wall to Cormier. Cormier centers for Ward Levi. Takes a funny hop here now, and the Rebels will control as they cross the line and fire it in, blockered away by Zachary David. And now McGillis outlets to Finney. Finney, he's going to go back to McGillis, left side. McGillis in on the left side of the zone, beats his man wide, but puck gets away from him there, and the Rebels will turn it back up the other way. Laird able to hold it in as he'll connect with McGillis down low, but the Rebels, again, work it out to the blue here and over center. Francis back here for the Thunderbirds as Croy returns to us tonight after a shoulder injury in Nova Scotia last weekend. Shot through traffic, glove just side here, and Rebels collapse down. Puck's played in behind the net here. Laird in a puck battle down low as the Rebels are able to move it back to the blue line. And that's going to be called offside as it squeaks out over the line here. 17:03 in the first. Still 0-0 up here as the early part of the first period. But lots of action so far. As that's going to bring out a fresh line here. As we got Walsh, Michael LeBlanc, and Vincent Desjardins up front tonight. As that pass is moved across the zone, chipped up the wall. And now the Rebels will try to convert in the neutral zone. Walsh hooked up there, but he's able to get it into the Rebels zone as they clear it out to center here. And then Walsh takes his man to the wall. Laird chips it up. Michael LeBlanc picks it up as he crosses center over to Desjardins in the high zone as he dumps it down low. Michael LeBlanc on the forecheck. Walsh down low here now as he's got a couple of Rebels on him as they'll rim it around, but it's held in by Laird. Laird to Walsh. Walsh steps off the wall. Shot. Rebound as that sat there by itself. And then the Rebels goaltender able to cover it up here. And an offensive zone draw coming to the right of the Rebels goaltender as the Thunderbirds will set up for the draw. Boudreau out there with Steves. as he plays with us another game here tonight. And the Rebels try to regroup. It's broken up there. Walsh will fire it back onto the Rebels as they'll regroup, trying to cut through the neutral zone. Declan Steves takes a hit at the blue line there, and the Rebels regroup. Rebels try to outlet as they take a bouncing puck off the wall and hammer it deep. Steves plays his man, and Walsh collapses down. Below the goal line here now. Steves, again under pressure, moves it up to Walsh. Walsh turns, fires the puck to the blue line, and it will make its way free there with a little bit of help from Desjardins. Boudreau to Steves. Steves will play it off the wall there as he stretches it out. The one touch by Shediak. And now the Rebels are forced to regroup in the neutral zone as they come in the left side. Rebels drive the net. Backhand pass out front, broken up. As that puck is tipped out of the zone by Shediak after Boudreau put a little bit of mustard on it. It's going to make it all the way down and called icing. 15-18 in the first period, still on the board. Zeros on both sides. As we get a D-zone draw coming to the left of David. Rebels forward thrown out of the draw here as Shediak steps in, ties his man up. Boudreau will pick it up for the Thunderbirds. Boudreau headmans to Kopaj to Shediak through the neutral zone. Kopaj ends up with it as he'll put it deep. Shediak in on the forecheck as the Rebels go against the grain there. Little one touch and they'll come up the left side. The Rebels over center as they dump it in behind the net of Zachary David. Boudreau there as they'll play it down deep, centering attempt, broken up there as David got a stick on it, not able to get a clean shot, and then this short side opportunity is off of a stick and out of play. As we're just inside the 15-minute mark here of the first period, so lots of action so far, lots of shots, lots of shot attempts, and the goalie's on their game. As Landry in for the draw here now. Is he able to win that straight back to Laird, and he'll move it around to Cormier. Cormier, the one touch to the middle of the ice. It's broken up, and now Thunderbirds. Zvoneveld will chip it up the wall, takes a hit there now. Rebels on the forecheck. Landry collapses down, helps out Zvoneveld. Centering attempt. Handled easily there by Laird, as that'll come over center. And into the zone by Cormier. Laird hits his man down low. Ward Levi on the left wing. Rebels try to chip it up the wall onto the stick of Ward Levi. He centers. Cormier gets the backhand, but it ends up just wide of the goal as he'll try to corral it around down low and takes a hit into the wall. Rebels reverse up the left side wall here. And they're going to call a high stick. Looks like it's against the Thunderbirds, so that'll take the draw outside the zone. As you go, Walsh, McGillis, and Limburner taking the ice here for the Thunderbirds. Well, as Boudreau and Finney on the blue line here, McGillis in on the draw. As he's able to win it back, but past Boudreau, so he'll be back to pick it up behind the net of David. Boudreau with a good move. Looks like an early exit, rims it up the boards there for Limburner, but takes a funny hop, and they dump it back in. Finney over to Boudreau. Boudreau to Limburner, the one touch through the zone here as he's able to get it to Walsh. Walsh headmans for McGillis. McGillis partial break, and that's called offside. 13:29 left in the first period. That draw will come right in front of the Rebels bench here. Well, I guess they're going to move it all the way back. They're going to deem it was on purpose, or I guess it's from... Oh, and the other referee overrules it. Typically it's from where the passer connects, but it will be in front of the bench as it's won by the Thunderbirds. Finney ahead to McGillis as he takes a hit. Rebels Go rink wide there. Walsh finishes his hit. The arm goes up right away. And they're going to call head contact against Connor Walsh at 13-16 of the first as we move into the first Riverview Guardian Drugs penalty kill. And that'll come all the way back down to the left of Zachary David here, as it'll be Mikel LeBlanc out there on the kill. Take this draw, as he has Beliveau with him. Draws one back here by the Rebels as they'll gain the zone control. Francis and Laird on the blue line here, and defenders. As the Rebels moving around the perimeter, shot, rebound, they score. So 4-minute double minor, I guess, to Connor Walsh. And 21 seconds into the first 2 minutes of that penalty. And the Rebels put one on the board, so a fresh 2 minutes will go on the clock as the Thunderbirds go to work to kill this second penalty. Shediak on this draw here as he'll punch it over to Croy Francis. Rebels back to regroup in their own zone. Rebels looking up ice here as Shediak steps out. And the Rebels gain the zone. They look cross ice. Bouncing puck here as it's settled down. And they'll move it back to the blue line as they go cross zone back to the top of the umbrella. Now far side, Toombs here. As he goes down the middle. Shot is high and wide over the net. Laird hits his man as Gamble here for the Rebels comes across the high zone. He passes to the far blue. It's settled down here. And then left as they go D to D. Cross ice pass broken up, and now Shediak will sweep it all the way down. And the Thunderbirds will get a full wholesale line change here as we get fresh new killers out here. Landry with McGillis, as well as Declan Steves. And Zvoneveld as that's fired the length of the ice here by Landry. Rebels with some speed over center ice here, but it's broken up by McGillis. A good stick there on the Rebels player. And here comes 22 for the Rebels, Chasson, as he gains his own. And McGillis will clear it out. A good poke check there by Landry to free that up. As the Rebels again try to come through the neutral zone, it's broken up again by McGillis. Or Landry, sorry. As the Rebels push it towards the net. And now back out to the perimeter. One time from the point is blocked there by Declan Steves. And the penalty is over to Walsh as that shot is blockered away through traffic. It was high and wide, but Zachary David gets a blocker on it. Now Zvoneveld down low as he'll move it over to Steves. He rips it up the wall here as McGillis takes a stick right in the chops. So the arm is up. And the Thunderbirds will get to go to the power play here at 10:37 in the first. And another 4-minute head contact penalty. Shediak, Kopaj, and Beliveau out there up front on the penalty kill, or sorry, on the power play is Boudreau and Walsh on the blue line as that draw is going to have to be redone. They throw out the Rebels centerman. As Shediak back to work here in the face-off dot. He wins it to the wall. Back to Walsh at the blue line. Walsh to Boudreau. Boudreau on the half wall here as it's Move back to him by Copage. Again to Copage, over to Walsh. He steps in, short side shot, rebound, doorstep. And Copage right there, not able to pull the trigger. As a bouncing puck there. Boudreau through traffic. That'll find the Rebels goaltender. As Shediak on the doorstep, and then we see the extra penalty being called there as it's teed up. And that goes against the Rebels. Unsportsmanlike, and then a 10. So big number 22, Chasson, who's, I believe, leading the league in penalty minutes, adds an extra 12 on that play. So it's going to be 5 on 3 for the next 2 minutes. And there'll still be 1:34 remaining in the original 2-minute penalty, or the original double minor for the head contact. As Thunderbirds here now on the draw, the Rebels are able to get a hold of it and fire at the length of the ice as Laird will be back to pick that puck up from Zachary David. Laird over center. As he comes in the left side of the zone, it's broken up by the Rebels as they'll have to regroup at center. And then chipped into the corner, and Cormier will be back to pick it up for your Thunderbirds. Cormier, as he steps out from behind the net, take it up ice. In on the left side of the zone, as he delays to the wall, puts it down low for Limburner. Limburner, he moves it back to Cormier. Cormier to the top of the zone to Laird. Laird over to Walsh. Walsh back to Laird down the middle. Laird shot is high and wide. Limburner will pick it up behind the net as he moves it back to Laird at the blue. Laird over to Walsh. Walsh looking for Cormier to Laird. The shot off a skate and ends up wide, and McGillis will pick that up here and circle the zone. McGillis down the middle. Goes back to Laird. Laird to the half wall. Cormier will step out here down the middle. As he goes back to Laird. Laird in short side. Shot blockered away as Laird moves it over to McGillis. McGillis picks it up. Back out to Walsh on the blue. Walsh to Cormier. Cormier to the middle to Laird, short side. Laird steps in, shot is blockered away again, and McGillis will pick it up. Cormier picks it up. Cormier, he circles the top of the zone, opens up down the middle, fires a shot, rebound. Swept away there now, and the rebound as it's settled down by Walsh to Cormier down the middle. Cormier to Limburner, looking back door was Limburner, but couldn't connect, and now McGillis down the middle. McGillis says, Limburner's out front. Cormier steps in, fires a shot, and it's off and into the netting as the first penalty expires. 1:31 remaining in the 4-minute double minor for head contact. So a lot of good opportunities there by the Thunderbirds, but not able to put it on ice, as that'll put the second power play unit out there, or the other power play unit, I should say. As you got Shediak, Beliveau, Copage, Boudreau, and Zvoneveld, as that's one back, and Boudreau will take it from Copage. Boudreau steps in from the blue, fires a shot off some shin pads, and then the Rebels will rip it around the zone and all the way back down behind the net here as Zvoneveld picks it up. Zvoneveld outlets to Beliveau. Beliveau connects with Copage. Copage back to Beliveau. Beliveau on the short side, his shot, bouncing puck. As Zvoneveld pinches in to hold it down deep, and the Rebels are able to fire at the length of the ice here. And it'll be back and picked up by Boudreau. Boudreau to Zvoneveld. Zvoneveld goes rink wide to Beliveau. Beliveau, as he gets it back, here's got Zvoneveld on the far side. Mason fires a shot. It's under the pad of the Rebels goaltender. With 30 seconds remaining in the power play. Eddie Limburner electrical power play. As Mikel LeBlanc out there, Desjardins and Walsh as it's one to the wall. And then Francis there. But the Rebels are able to move it out to center as Walsh will regroup. Walsh headmans to Croy Francis. He goes rink wide intended for Desjardins. And the Rebels able to break that up and put it back down to Laird. Laird to Francis. Francis looks to stretch that out. It's off the back foot of Desjardins, and the Rebels dump it into the corner. That'll do it for the power play here as it's pushed up to Walsh. Walsh to Mikel LeBlanc. Bouncing puck, and the Rebels turn it back into the Thunderbirds zone here now, and Laird rims it up to Walsh. Walsh under some pressure there as the Rebels collapse down and put it behind the net. Centering attempt, doorstep. Fanned on the shot there, and then Desjardins will chip it out to center. Rebels regroup as they go D to D. Through the neutral zone, Desjardins handles it to Laird. Laird over to Francis. Francis headmans to Walsh. The one touch to Mikel LeBlanc. LeBlanc, and with some speed on the right side. His poke checked. He centers. Bouncing puck. Shot through traffic there as Boudreau gets a good one time away. But it's gloved down by the Rebels goaltender. 5:55 left in the first. Rebels still holding that advantage, 1-0 on the power play goal. Thunderbirds win that draw as Boudreau settle it down at the blue line. His shot wide of the goal. Landry down low here now as he has Cormier with him. Rebels will pick it up though and bring it up the left side. Rebels over center, chip it into the corner. Finney there to put a little interference, so Boudreau back to pick it up. Rebels overloading the defender here, 2-on-1 as Finney now back. He reverses to Boudreau. Boudreau outlet to Cormier. His pass comes off his skate, and the Rebels try to get a shot away. Boudreau there to break that up. Cormier through the neutral zone now. Ward Levi with it. He chips it into Landry. Landry, short side shot, blockered away. And now Finney collapses down, breaks that play up down low, and a penalty coming for cross check against Landry. But then number 9 for the Rebels maybe. Number 9 gets 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike and keeps it at 5-on-5. Offensive zone draw for the Thunderbirds, so what was going to be a shorthanded opportunity here is now back to even 5-on-5. Shediak, McGillis, and Limburn are out there. Zvoneveld and Declan Steeves on the blue. As that draw is pulled back, Zvoneveld there to dump it down deep. Rebels try to bring it out of the zone. Declan Steeves there to break that up. But the Rebels come through the neutral zone. Over the line, but it's ruled offside. And that draw will be right in front of the Thunderbirds bench. McGillis on the draw here as it's won back by the Rebels. They go rink wide and chipped into the corner here as Declan Steeves comes back to work it down low. Shediak off the end wall for McGillis. McGillis gets on the good side of it, able to move it back to Shediak. Owen Shediak in the zone, tries to cut towards the middle. Bouncing puck, and now it'll make its way back to center. Declan Steeves, one touch to Shediak as he'll put it into the zone. And the Rebels goaltender will fire it all the way back and into the Thunderbirds zone here as Laird stretches it out for McGillis. Bouncing puck onto the stick of Limburner. Limburner in on the left side, settles it down. He turns, fires, it's off a stick, ends up over the net as Shediak in finishes his check. As that's poked out to the blue line here, and Francis moves it to the half wall, and the shot from Shediak changes directions 2 or 3 times, and now the Rebels with it as they come over center. They fire it down deep, and Francis back for the Thunderbirds as he'll look up ice. He goes rink wide for Limmer. It's off a stick and then hammered back into the zone by the Rebels. Francis again with it. His outlet to Copage. Walsh with some speed up the right side. Walsh fires a shot on net, and it's swallowed up by the Rebels netminder, and that draw will come to his left. Walsh, Beliveau, Copage out there now for the Thunderbirds, as well as Laird and Francis on the blue line here. Another draw here as Copage will step, Copage gets tossed out. Beliveau will take his place. Beliveau ties his man up as it's chipped to the wall now. The Rebels do move it out to center here and then chipped into the corner. Francis back as he'll move it up the wall, intended for Laird. He's under pressure. Walsh there, and then they outlet to Copage. Kingston Copage gets over center, fires it into the Rebels zone. And now Beliveau in on the forecheck. They switch sides and Copage there. Rebels try to move it out of the zone. Walsh as he meets his man. Boudreau plays his man high in the zone and is back to go rink wide to Beliveau. Beliveau in on the left side. He gains the zone, fires a shot. Steered aside there by the Rebels goaltender as they rim it around. And now we'll break out of the zone. Rebels over center on the right side. A little toe drag in. Shot. Takes a lively bounce. Rebound. Is steered into the corner here. Clearing attempt held in by the Rebels. Fans on the shot is Copage there. So he's able to work it to the wall for Boudreau. Boudreau. He goes rink wide. Bouncing puck does clear the zone. Beliveau forces a turnover there, but can't convert. And now the Rebels come back the other way. Rebels inside as Laird keeps his man to the outside. And now that puck makes its way to McGillis. McGillis, as it's held in there, he'll take a second crack at it to clear the zone. And now the Rebels will dump it down deep again. Centering, nobody home. High slot shot. Good kick save as that changed directions. Held in. Rebels shot again. As that's wide of the goal. Rebels will pick that up. As they go cross ice. Sharp angle shot. No, doesn't get it away there as Boudreau gets a stick on it. Mikel LeBlanc converts to McGillis. McGillis with Desjardins over center. And that's going to be called offside. Minute 16 left in the first period, and that draw will come opposite the Rebels bench here. Or I guess they're going to rule it was right in front of the Rebels bench. McGillis, Cormier, Shediak out there now for the Thunderbirds, as well as Vonneveld and Finney on the Blues. Shediak gets it and he'll fire it in behind the net. So Rebels back to regroup in their own zone. Outlet, cross ice pass. Connects over center as they come into the zone down the middle. Tried to get to the forehand, and that's going to be called tripping, I'd say. As McGillis is going to go to the old sin bin for two or few. 55 seconds remaining in the first, and the Rebels back on the power play. The old Riverview Guardian Drugs penalty kill. As that draw will come to the right of Zachary David in the net for the Thunderbirds. It's Walsh going to step in and take this one. Walsh wins it, and then it's fired the length of the ice there by Declan Steeves. Rebels netminder out here is he'll start to quarterback this pressure here on the power play. As they do gain the Thunderbird zone. Circle, go back door off a skate. And a good save there by David. That draw is going to be the left of Zachary David here. Is killed 20 seconds off in that penalty to McGillis. Walsh going to take this draw in the D zone. Ties his man up, and then it's punched free by Boudreau. Rebels, little D-to-D action as they'll connect and come in the left side, gain the zone. They'll settle it down with 15 seconds left. To the half wall, back to the top of the umbrella here. As that shot tipped through traffic, covered up by David. 5 seconds remaining in the first period. Landry on this draw as Walsh steps to his wing. Laird and Boudreau out there to finish off this 5 seconds. That's one to Walsh. Walsh fires it. It's held in there off some pants inside tight. And a good save at the buzzer there by Zachary David. And after the first 20-minute frame, the Rebels holding the 1-goal advantage, 1-0. And the Thunderbirds will come back in the second period with 1:05 remaining to kill off in the Review Guardian Drugs penalty kill. Pretty good even match in the first period there. Shots on goal were fairly even. Rebels regroup in their own zone here as they try to connect on this Riverview Guardian Drugs penalty kill. Mikel LeBlanc out there battling away, doing a good job breaking that up high in the zone. Rebels come to the neutral zone with some speed here as they cross into the zone. Offside waved off here as the puck moves towards the middle. Top of the zone, shot wide of the goal there. And then it'll be picked up again by the Rebels. Short side opportunity, easily gloved down there by Zachary David. As there's 11 seconds remaining in the penalty to McGillis. D-zone draw to the right of Zachary David. In the remaining 11 seconds of this penalty kill. Draw is tied up there by Landry and it'll be worked to Declan Steeves. Steeves behind the net. Still chip it up the wall for Cormier. Cormier turns it back against the green here as McGillis returns to the ice. To Declan Steeves as he'll end up behind the net here as Vonneveld idles his man into the wall. And now the one touches. Landry connects with Desjardins. His shot kicked away there. Desjardins goes to the wall with him. Rebels again pick it up as they cross ice through the neutral zone here. Steeves again steps up and break that play up. Tries to connect with Cormier as it doesn't find its mark, and the Rebels look up ice and have to turn back to regroup. Rebels try to clear the zone and Cormier will knock it down as he'll bring it out to center here, and Declan Steeves connects with Landry. Landry stretches it out for Desjardins as it's off of his stick and the Rebels back to pick it up. Rebels try to clear, Cormier knocks it down. He curls towards the middle, broken up there now. And then Boudreau will hammer it deep for Cormier. Cormier at the hash marks. Goes the backhand. It's broken up there by the Rebels defender. And now Shediak into the wall hard. And it's dumped into the Rebels zone. Shediak on the forecheck. They double it back. Stretch it out here. 2-on-1. Finney back. Picks up his man. And a good shot, but even better save there from David. As that'll make its way out to center ice here. Rebels settle it down. Fire it from center, high and over the net. And Boudreau will move it up the wall here. He connects with Shediak. Shediak down in the high slot, bouncing puck. Ward Levi in on the forecheck as he'll pick it up. Tries the center for Owen Shediak. Doesn't find the mark, and now the Rebels try to chip it out, held in there by Boudreau. Rebels with it again as they'll play it off the wall and out to center. Finney will settle it down and hammer it back into the Rebels zone. Ward Levi will pick it up on the far wall. He centers for Mikel LeBlanc. LeBlanc behind the net as he curls around. Connects on the far blue with Francis. Francis collapses down as he tries to center. Short side angled shot. Kicked away. And the Rebels try to clear, held in by Mikel LeBlanc as that's going to be moved over to the other side of the zone. Kopaj in on the forecheck. So he's able to connect with Ward Levi. He's under pressure down there now as he moves it up to Kopaj. Kopaj back down low to Ward Levi. Ward Levi centers. The Rebels will get a hold of it and turn back the other way as they cross center and into the Thunderbirds zone here off the end wall. As Francis here will push it up for Mikel LeBlanc. Lindbergh are able to get it the first time, but it's held in by the Rebels and fired wide. Laird there to pick it up. Laird has to put on the brakes as he'll connect with Francis. Francis to Lindbergh, the one touch through the neutral zone, and now the Rebels will regroup as they try to stretch it out. Pass didn't connect, it ends up on net, and it'll be covered up by Zachary David. As we get ready for the fitty-fitty Ooh, $110. I was off by 200.
It was close though.
Yeah, I was pretty close. It's just off by 200. Ensuing draw is one back. And now to be stretched out here, Limburger's going to pick it up on the right side with some speed. He's got Mikel LeBlanc streaking towards the net. Limburger behind it as he'll double it back. Chip it off the wall. Out to Declan Steves. His shot through traffic, glove down. And that'll be an offensive zone draw coming to the left of the Rebels netminder. To the right of your screen on that shot from Declan Steves. Belleville, LeBlanc, Limburger out there as Mikel steps in. Rebels skate through the zone here but can't clear it. Mikel with Belleville. They try to clear it up. Limburger has the play at the blue, but the Rebels will come back the other way. Vonneveld back. Shot saved by Zachary David. Now rebound as the Rebels are able to settle it down. Back out to the blue line. Their shot wide of the goal. Rebound as the Rebels do hold the puck, but Zvoneveld there as the streaking defenseman comes in. Shot is tipped wide, and then Steves will work it around, but it's held in by the Rebels, and LeBlanc finally able to clear the zone. Dumped back in by the Rebels as David will leave it there for Zvoneveld. Mason Zvoneveld, as he steps up, chips it into the neutral zone here. Walsh in pursuit as he's fresh legs off the bench. Rink wide pass, and now Belleville will chip it off the wall and into the Rebels zone as they'll regroup here as they connect through the neutral zone. Picked off. Walsh plays it off of McGillis. And now the Rebels again in on the left side. Declan Steves back on the back check with Boudreau as he hits his man into the end wall. Came up a little dazed there, but puck is in the feet on the end wall. Walsh as he pins his man. Boudreau there. Puck squeaks out. Now Walsh with it to Cormier. Cormier goes rink wide for McGillis. McGillis centers for Walsh just out of his reach as the centers it to Cormier. Shot is off the crossbar. And now Rebels will settle it down as they exit their own zone over center. In the high slot, drop pass. Finney there to keep his man to the outside as the Rebels will move it out to the blue line. Held in. Rebels centering. And now Finney with it. As he plays it off the end wall. Boudreau down there now with Walsh. As that puck comes out to McGillis. McGillis connects with Cormier. Cormier trying to find Finney. Doesn't connect, and now the Rebels number 44, Gallant, regroups. Shot out front. Rebound. Cormier right there as that puck. And a fortuitous bounce, but a good pad save by the Rebels.
Congratulations to our winner
That's going to be an offensive zone draw on the left of your screen to the right of the Rebels netminder. 12:49 left in the second period. Still 1-0 up there in favor of the Rebels. Draws one to the wall by Landry. Desjardins there. As Landry will step in to help him out. Landry with it. He circles behind the net. Connects with Francis at the blue line. Over to Laird. Laird from the blue line goes the back door to Landry. The one time is steered aside, and now Francis, as that takes a funny hop off the wall, and then Laird will step up and play it over center. He chips it into the zone. Desjardins on the forecheck here on the left wing as he's able to force that turnover. He'll try to kick it back to the wall. Landry centers, looking to connect there with Shediak, but bouncing puck will make its way to center. Shediak on the back check as that'll end up right onto the stick of Zachary David. He'll cover it up as we're just inside the 12-minute mark of the second period. 11:58 up there. 1-0 in favor of the Rebels here as we approach the midway point of the game. 50-50 all acclaimed, so we got to get rid of these tickets. Hey, Mario? I thought the home team was supposed to win. Offensive zone draw for the Rebels as they're able to pull it to their far blue. Kept in there now as Declan Steves collapses down to break that play up. On the half wall, Kopaj able to chip it out past the defender. And the Rebels are back to pick it up here. Ward Levi applying that pressure on the forecheck. Stretch pass makes it to center. Zvonnevel with it. He connects with Kopaj. Kopaj centers. Ward Levi hops, centers, rebound. Kopaj had a poke at it there as well as Mikel LeBlanc as they get a couple shots away, but can't solve that Rebels netminder here. As they'll now connect through the neutral zone, broken up by Steves to Kopaj. Kopaj into the wall as they go rink wide. Rebels chip it through the zone, broken up there by Declan Steves again as Ward Levi will take it to the wall. Rebels in on the left wing. Steves collapses down. Good stick there. It's off the end of the net. And now it's kicked out front there. Mikel LeBlanc, Zvonnevel to Kopaj. As the defender steps in, but Kopaj able to clear it. McGregor here for the Rebels is under pressure on that forecheck from Landry. They do clear it out to center, but Zvonnevel with it as he'll chip it back into the Rebels zone. Rebels stretch it out to center. Steve's there to break that up. As Landry back to help out. Landry to Zvonnevel. Zvonnevel looking for Limburner. It's broken up by the Rebels defender. As Zvonnevel will play it off the wall to Hudson. Hudson Limburner in on the left side. He steps in, fires a shot, rebound. And Beliveau right there, but not able to get to it in time, and it's fired the length of the ice. Icing waved off now as Boudreau will chip it up the wall here for Finney. Makes it past him. And held in, centered here. As the Rebels do get a shot away. And again, another one from the point as Finney will backhand that out over center. Beliveau in pursuit as the Rebels go D to D as they try to stretch it out. Broken up there. And now Finney as he'll chip it off the wall to center. Beliveau as he's right there. And now the Rebels fire at the length of the ice. Going to be called icing as they didn't quite have center ice at 9:32, and the Thunderbirds with a good bit of pressure there, as well as some good back checking. The old forecheck, back check, paycheck. Ends up with an offensive zone draw here for McGillis, Walsh, and Cormier. And Finney and Boudreau on the blue line here as Nolan McGillis steps in for this draw. As they're going to get the Rebels centerman tossed here. Good tune selection by Miles here with the Rasputin. Draw is one to the wall by the Rebels as their clearing attempt does eventually make it out to center here. And then chip back to Finney. Finney, as he settles it down, goes D to D to Boudreau. Boudreau to Cormier. Cormier, as he tries to center, it's off escape, but Finney with it. And he'll fire it all the way down in behind the Rebels' net. Now Cormier in on the forecheck. Cormier, as he's under pressure, gets it to Walsh. Walsh takes a stick as he centers, goes back door. Looking for Cormier down low as that puck bounces out. And now the Rebels will chip it back into the zone here. Finney, as he shakes off a check there. Centering attempt by the Rebels. Short side shot is steered away as David had the pad there. Out to McGillis. It's held in by the Rebels. And another save by David. High slot shot. Ends up wide of the goal. McGillis back to pickpocket his man as he centers. No call on that trip. And now Rebels will dump it down deep. David leaves it for Finney. Finney to Boudreau. Boudreau looking for Cormier. Broken up there, and Walsh will settle it down here now. Walsh. So he moves it to Cormier. Cormier under pressure, and the Rebels will pick it up. as they regroup in their own zone. Off the boards to center. Broken up there by Boudreau. Rebels will bring it in the left side here now as Mikel LeBlanc on the back check. Finney down low. Boudreau takes his man to the end wall. Finney leaves it for Cormier. Cormier, as he'll step out of the corner. He takes a stick, ends up with the puck as he'll persevere. Crossover center as he tries to get it into the corner here. Desjardins pick it up as he takes a check. Rebels play it off the wall, but it's held in there by Croy Francis. Down low here now is Shediak on the forecheck with Mikel LeBlanc. As they play it off the wall, and now the Rebels will regroup off the end wall. Desjardins down low here on the forecheck with Shediak. As the Rebels push it up the far side, and that high lob will make it over center here, Croy Francis. As he plays it to center, picked up there by the Rebels. Rebels try to put it in the zone. And now Laird with some speed as Shediak will play it off the wall back into the zone. Thunderbirds get onside as Desjardins first man in. As he's trying to force that outlet pass. Shediak there to break it up, and now the Rebels come up the opposite side. Good hit there by Shediak. And the arm goes up. And now the referees are going to get together on it. 2 minutes for tripping? Is that what he said? I don't know, I'm all the way up here and I'm seeing that it's a bit of a gutless call. Thought Shediak did a good job to get in the lane, and the guy decides to jump out of the way to avoid the hit. You got to be in control of yourself at all times, but nonetheless, it's going to be another Riverview Guardian Drugs penalty kill here, as the Rebels are going to go on the power play. The one time kicked aside, rebound, fanned on, and now Laird will force it out to the blue line here. Walsh filling that lane down the middle as the boys working it around up top. They step in, fire a shot. That's high and over the net, and it's going to make its way out of the zone. As they'll regroup at center. Walsh able to get a stick on it there. As they'll step over center and dump it in deep. Rebels will pick it up on the short side here on the left of your screen. Laird hits his man down low. You see the hand go to the whistle there of the referee, but he didn't blow it down, as he has a little word across the rink there to Laird, but no damage done, as now the Rebels in on the left side, broken up high. McGillis is able to chip it back and into the Rebels zone. Inside the 1 minute mark here on the Riverview Guardian Drugs penalty kill, as Rebels do gain the zone as they stop and pop, go across the zone high here. McGillis closing off that lane as it's pinned against the wall there by Laird. And now move back to the blue. D to D. Down low, looking centered. Get on the back door, shot. Big save there by David. And that's going to be the extra one, I guess. 27 seconds left. And the penalty to Shediak, and Laird's going to go in there on top of him. It's going to be 5-on-3 for at least 27 seconds. Mikel LeBlanc out there on the kill with Boudreau and Declan Steves. Mikel's going to take this draw. And the Rebels work it around, short side shot. And 9 seconds into that 5-on-3, the Rebels capitalize and make it 2-0 at 4:44 in the second period. Ensuing draw here is it's 5-on-4 now for 1:51. And Declan Steves will get it and fire it into the Rebels zone. Rebels captain Golan will pick it up here. Gamble, sorry. I don't have a team list, so I'm going off the name bars. As the Thunderbirds will fire at the length of the ice. Team captain Gamble back to pick it up here for the Rebels. As they're going to come with some speed over center. Gamble into the zone. Declan Steves keep him to the perimeter as he'll circle the net. Connects to the blue line. Chasson shot tipped wide of the goal as it's settled down. Shot again is off the skate as Vonnevild out front wide. As they move it high in the slot. Now to the half wall. Centered through the zone, backhand doorstep. Good save there by David. Couple opportunities, but Zachary David standing tall. 3:50 left in the second period. 57 seconds remaining in the penalty to Laird on this Riverview Guardian Drugs penalty kill. Hey Mario, is this CNC Music Studio? Hey, good jam, eh? I got the power. Draw, Limburner tries to get it out of the zone. It's held in here by the Rebels. Walsh and Limburner on the kill. That's pass short side, shot high and over the net. And that'll clear its way all the way back to the Rebel zone as they'll regroup here. Rebels up over the center ice line as they'll fire it down. David out to knock that down as they try to center it, broken up on its way to the net. Rebels will settle it down here, 23 seconds. One time from the blue line is high and wide, and now Boudreau. As that puck is played in behind the net of Zachary David, the Rebels back out to the point. To the far side, shot. Good save there again by David. Limburner with it now. As he'll play it off the wall, back out to the blue line. We're back to 5-on-5 actions. That shot is gloved down by Zachary David. 2:50 remaining in the second period. And a successful Riverview Guardian Drugs penalty kill. So that's 2,000 more Guardian rewards points into the bank. And a D-zone draw to the left of Zachary David. Beliveau on the draw, wins it cleanly back to Laird, who will sweep it around. Copage there under some pressure. Rebels with it now. As they try to center off the side of the net, clearing attempt held in by the Rebels. And now it's chipped into the corner. Laird jumps over his man, Beliveau, to Ward Levi. Ward Levi off the side of his own net there. Centering attempt off the stick of David. And now down low here, Francis, and a centering attempt is clear of the zone by the Rebels. As they'll have to come all the way back down the ice to pick this up. Or Levi on the forecheck. As they connect at center here, Laird breaks it up and chips it in to the Rebels zone as they're back to pick it up. As this played off the wall and out to the blue line here. Chip past Laird, but Francis there to pick it up for the Thunderbirds as it's held in by the Rebels. Rebels down low, looking baseline, short side, shot is tipped high and over the netting. Over the net, sorry. Francis with some room as he connects with Ward Levi. It's broken up though, and now Laird will try to chip it in the zone. Rebels all over him in front of the bench. And they'll come in the right side. Rebels try to get to the forehand, broken up there by Copage on the back check. Puck out in the high slot, shot is wide of the goal there. I believe David got a good piece of it as they step out of the slot. Fire a shot, and again a save by David as this cleared out to Desjardins. Desjardins looking cross ice, broken up. And now the Rebels connect far side. Shot, good save by Zachary David. Here's the recovery here as the Desjardins trying to keep his man to the outside. Does a good job of it. Francis and Cormier down low. Rebels behind the net. As they move around. Step out from the corner, and that's going to narrowly clear the zone. Desjardins there. It's held in. Rebels still going to work here as they settle it down. And a 5-on-5, but they're playing it like a 5-on-4 here as the Thunderbirds kind of need to settle things down and get their footing, and are finally able to clear it to center. Copage and Laird will break that up into the zone. Cormier, as he's in a puck battle there off the bench. 10 seconds remaining. And Francis back behind the net as he'll sweep it around the zone. Held in by the Rebels. And that'll do it for the second 20-minute frame. So after 40 minutes of play, the Rebels sitting with a 2-0 lead.
13 for the Rebels for a 2-period total of 22. 7 shots for the Thunderbirds for a 2-period total of 20.
So shots after the second, 23-20 in favor of the Rebels. So let's hope that the Thunderbirds bring their A game for the third frame. Opening draw of the third frame here. Landry on the draw with Ward Levi and Copage. Laird and Francis on the blue line here as it's one back to Laird, over to Francis. Troy Francis stretches it out for Copage as his one touch makes it in on net. And now the Rebels will turn it back up ice. It ends up onto the stick of Laird. Laird to Ward Levi. As he dumps it into the zone, delayed offside here. As Thunderbirds tag up. Rebels have to regroup as they'll connect at the center ice line. And dump it into the Thunderbird zone. High slot. Try to get it to forehand. It's Copage able to work it to Ward Levi. Ward Levi back to Copage. Hops over his stick. Sees in on the forecheck here now too. Kingston Copage down below the goal line as he's in that puck battle. Walsh down to help him out as he'll dig it out. Centers off the pad. Rebound. McGillis gets the backhand away, but not able to solve that Rebels netminder as he goes over to Laird. Laird fires it, blockered away by the Rebels netminder as Francis will pick it up and fire it back into the Rebel zone. McGillis on the forecheck there as he has Cormier with him. Cross ice pass from the Rebels will connect, and then they fire it all the way down as that icing is waved off. Steves here pushes it up for McGillis. His one touch to Walsh. Walsh on the left side as he's under pressure, able to chip it into the corner. Cormier on the forecheck as the Rebels will push it to the far side. Cross ice pass connects over center as they'll chip it into the corner here. Declan Steves in a puck battle down low. Steves able to get it to Walsh. Walsh connects to McGillis. To Cormier. Cormier on the left side. As he gains his zone, stops, pops, cuts towards the middle. As he hits Vonneveldt. Shot, score! C&I shot from Mason Vonneveldt. As Cormier hits him on the half wall. And 2 minutes and 7 seconds into the third period, the Thunderbirds get on the board and cut the lead in half to make it 2-1 here. Shediac, Bellevaux, Desjardins out there ready to go. Zonneveldt and Steves on the blue line here as Shediac able to punch that through. And now the Rebels have to regroup in their own zone as they chip it out past center. Into the zone, Vonneveldt back. He's under pressure, chips it over for Desjardins. Desjardins plays it on the half wall as he gets a hand from Shediac. Puck bounces out to the blue line, shot. Swallowed up there by David at the 17:30 mark in the third period. The D-zone draw to the left of Zachary David, to the right on your screen. And Shediac here, he's able to pull that back. And then it's swung around the far side there by Steves. Clearing attempt is held in. Now Zonneveldt as he'll reverse it back over, and Desjardins is going to pick it up here on the half wall. He doubles it back. Zonneveldt back up the wall for Desjardins. Rebels are able to keep it in. Shediac chips it off the wall, but it's held in by the Rebels. Desjardins there to go to work. Rebels hold it in. They cut towards the middle, broken up in the high slot. But they do recover. Rebels looking far side, pass broken up, but they do control. Collins here as his shot off a skate and onto the stick of Shediac. Owen Shediac over center as he steps into the zone, fires it. That'll end up wide of the goal. And now the Rebels come into the zone here. Boudreau gets himself in the lane. They center it, shot wide of the goal as it's held down low. Rebels, high slot, shot, kicked away. Mikel LeBlanc with it now. He looks for Landry. It's broken up by the Rebels defender as they try to center now. Boudreau looking for Limburger, squeaks its way through. Limburger on the left wing as he'll gather it in. Takes a bump there on the half wall as he tries to move it down to Landry. Landry now below the goal. Curls up. Mikel LeBlanc. Shot scores! A good play by Landry to LeBlanc. And Mikel finds the hole. Top right cheese. Top shelf. Up where Nicole keeps the cookie jar. And he ties the game up at 15:52 in the third. So Mario, tell us, is it because of his new $429 stick?
Well, it was worth that extra over $400, like Jonathan Wald would say.
Yeah, that's right. $399 never would have got it done, but
Exactly.
spent the extra money and it paid back in spades. As Mikel LeBlanc ties the game up here at 15.5 minutes left in the third. Pulls off the wall there. Now Landry knocks that shot down towards the net as he'll regroup now. Boudreau to Limburner. Limburner, so he's going to pull it off the wall. He's going to go for a skate. Hudson with some speed into the zone. Leaves it there for Mikel. Mikel again trying to get it on the forehand. He's pickpocketed. Boudreau collapses down. He's going to break that play up. Rebels are able to go rink wide here. Finney looked like he was going to drop the boom. And Shediak back to pick it up. He outlets to Boudreau. Boudreau looking for Limburner. It's held in there by Corbett of the Rebels. And now they center off a skate. And now it's onto the stick of Owen Shediak. Shediak into the zone as he fires it. Glove down by the Rebels netminder as he goes right to the net off the shot. Follow your shot. Kind of like follow your heart. Yeah, good jam. That'll get some fresh skaters out there for the Thunderbirds. 14:45 remaining in the third period. She's a brand new game, 2-2 here in the third period. Draws one back to Laird. Laird fires a shot. It's off of a player out front and wide. And then hammered towards the net. Tipped on the way there by Shediak. But swallowed up by the Rebels netminder. Pretty high danger scoring opportunity there. Offensive zone draw here coming. As the Rebels try to clear it out. Croy Francis will pull it off the wall. He fires it through traffic, tipped in front. Ward Levi off the end while the Copage. Copage pinned against the wall. Now the Rebels come up the left side with speed. Francis does a good job angling his man into the wall. On the back track, centered. Tied up in front, shot, rebound. They turn, fire again, it's wide. And eventually cleared to the wall by Laird. Ward Levi there, but it's held in by Collins. His shot. Again, a pad save by by David. As the Rebels doing a good job connecting here, but Copage will connect with Ward Levi himself as he puts a high arc lob onto the net. And the Rebels will have to regroup inside their own zone under pressure from Cormier. Cormier with McGillis, as well as Walsh here. As the Rebels connect far side, Laird back there with Zvoneveld. As Walsh able to chip it up and over. And now fired back in by the Rebels, Zvoneveld back. Still chip it to McGillis. McGillis tries to connect with Cormier. He's a man on him now. Declan Steves makes a play in front of the Thunderbirds bench. Rebels do dump it into the zone, but Steves looks rink wide for McGillis, doesn't connect. It's broken up by the Rebels as they fire a shot wide of the goal. Walsh down low, hits his man. Centering attempt from the Rebels. Ends up on the stick, shot through traffic, tipped in front. Declan Steves will settle it down behind the net. As they connect through the zone exit. Walsh drops it there for Cormier. Cormier looks for Zvoneveld. Rebels get a hold of it now as they'll come back. Declan Steves tried to keep his man to the perimeter and does around the net. As he finishes him off into the wall, Walsh So that backhand to McGillis, a one touch to center ice broken up and held in by the Rebels. Backhand centering attempt, and now McGillis stretches it out for Cormier and right on net. As now the Rebels with some speed come through the neutral zone. And on the right side of the zone, Rebels now, Desjardins there. As he has help from Landry. Boudreau over to Finney. Finney's going to stretch it out there. It's a bouncing puck. And it's going to be called icing with 11:51 left in the third period. Still all knotted up at twos here from the Greenfoot Energy fourplex. Draw is going to be the right of Zachary David. As you have Landry in to take that draw. One back by the Rebels, but onto the stick of Beliveau. Beliveau, as he has Landry in front, the one touch. A good pad save by the Rebels. As Landry in all by himself. Pretty split second move, ends up onto the stick of Desjardins. He's not able to get that shot away, and the Rebels now regroup as they break out to center. Broken up there now as Landry closes the seam and he'll turn back. Landry stretches out to center. Desjardins, he'll one touch it into the Rebel zone, goes in on the forecheck and allows his line mates change up. Rebels look to stretch it out. It's off a stick and back into the zone here for Boudreau. As it'll come back out to Desjardins, Vincent. As it's fired high and wide there by the Rebels. Again, another short side shot. That doesn't make it to the net. Desjardins tries to put it into the center of the ice there for Copage. Copage right there. Last second takeaway by Collins of the Rebels. Or Kingston was gone. Stretch out here, Limburner off the bench, ends up wide, icing called. And that's going to bring the draw all the way back down into the Thunderbirds' end. To the left is Zachary David. Mikel LeBlanc on this draw, as he's able to pull it back for Boudreau. Played to the perimeter, centered here, shot off the post and out of play. As that'll bring the draw outside. It's ruled, I believe. No, I apologize. It's going to stay inside. As Mikel will take this draw again, he's got Laird and Francis on the blue line, Limburner on his wing, as well as Copage. Limburner to Copage, Copage. And a puck battle up high. Francis going to fire from the point. Limburner going to go to the net here. And there's Mikel LeBlanc. So he moves it to Limburner. Limburner back to Laird, bouncing puck as he's not able to handle it at the blue line, but will settle it down here in the neutral zone. Stretches it out there for Copage, will put it deep. Rebels will pick it up as they look up ice out of their own zone. Rebels over center, Laird breaks it up onto the stick of Limburner. Limburner under some pressure as he's fleeced, and now the Rebels through the center ice area. Backhand pass broken up, and now Francis will play it up the wall. Rebels pick it up as they circle the net. Wraparound opportunity. David there to make the save. And now centering back door as that bouncing puck doesn't connect. Francis up the wall here. Tries to clear it out, but it's held in by the Rebels. Rebels, one time out front, rebound. And onto the stick of Laird. Laird to Limburner. Limburner cuts towards the middle. And now the Rebels behind their own net. We'll regroup. Shediak forces a turnover on the doorstep. And the Rebels goaltender out to break that play up. Ward Levi cuts towards the middle, takes a hit. And the arms up in the back. Referee is going to call a charging. 8:39 left in the third period, and the Thunderbirds go to the man advantage for the Limburner Electrical power play. .44 Gallant for the Rebels in the box. As you got McGillis out there with Cormier and Limburner. Laird Zvoneveld on the blue line. As McGillis. It's that draw to Limburner. Limburner to Laird. Laird over to Zvoneveld. Zvoneveld's going to settle it down back to Laird. Laird to Cormier. Cormier out front. Fires a shot. Rebound. Limburner scores! Johnny on the spot as Cormier fires that shot. Rebound right onto the stick of Limburner, and he buries it. 8:24 left in the third, and the Thunderbirds take a 3-2 lead in the third period. Ensuing draw has Landry Desjardins and Mikel LeBlanc out there with Zvoneveld and Steves as Landry sizes his man up. Good play there by Desjardins. It's now chipped up to center. Zvoneveld has that puck hop over his stick as he'll be back to pick it up here. He'll sweep it over to Mikel LeBlanc. LeBlanc, the one touch into the center of the ice for Landry, but the Rebels pick it up. Backhand attempt to the net. As Zvoneveld looking to drop the boom there as the Rebels center it. It's chipped up the wall, held in there by the Rebels, and now chipped out to center. Desjardins, one touch to Landry. Landry in on the right side. He stops, pops, and he'll chip it in the corner here. Mikel LeBlanc moves it back to Declan Steves. It's his one-time shot. Hops on its way in there. Centering attempt. Doesn't find its maker. And now the Rebels back over center as they'll fire it in behind the net of Zachary David, who steps out and rims it up the wall for Desjardins. Ends up onto the stick of Zvoneveld. Mason Zvoneveld as he plays it up and into the neutral zone. Mikel LeBlanc picks it up off the wall. Mick with an opportunity goes to Desjardins. Picked off there by the Rebels as they look to stretch it out to center. Backhand pass broken up by Boudreau, and the Rebels are called offside. At 7:05 in the third, the Thunderbirds, their first lead of the game, holding it 3-2 here late in the third period. And that draw is going to be opposite the Thunderbirds bench here, as you got McGillis out there with Walsh and Cormier. Boudreau and Finney on the blue line here after this draw as it ends up onto the stick of Walsh. He'll chip it down into the corner. Cormier is going to go in on the forecheck here now. He's angled into the wall. Walsh there to peel it up as they center it, held in there by Finney. Rebels this time do get a hold of it as they'll come over center. Finney breaks that up in the zone entry, gets it to Cormier. Cormier in on the right side all alone, looking for the pass off a skate. And now the Rebels regroup high in their zone. It'll turn up ice over center as they fire it in behind the net of David, and Finney back here now. As he ties his man up, chipped up the wall by Connor Walsh. Cormier chips it up and not out of the zone as that will be chipped onto the net and swept aside by David. McGillis to Walsh. And now they try to clear it, held in by the Rebels, and shot fired wide. McGillis will settle it down as he looks up ice, able to connect with Cormier, and a late hit by the Rebels forward, and that's going to send the Thunderbirds again onto the Limerick Electrical power play here with 6:06 left in the third period. Looks like Shediak, Kopaj, and Beliveau out there on forward, as well as Walsh and Boudreau on the blue line here. Shediak going to take this draw, wins it to the wall as they do chip it out over center here. Walsh back, Shediak back to pick that up. Shediak back to Walsh. Walsh going to settle it down as he peels it off the wall. Moves it back to Boudreau behind the net of Zachary David. Boudreau. See outlets to Beliveau. Beliveau cuts through the ice here. A little blown sneaker, but he connects with Walsh as they gain the zone. Walsh delays as he moves it across the top of the zone. Boudreau back to Walsh. Walsh going to go baseline here. Baseline for Beliveau. His shot short side as that's kicked out to center here. Boudreau in a foot race as he's able to play it off the wall. And now Beliveau. Beliveau in on the left side as he takes a hit. Now the Rebels able to chip it out to center here as they come back on a 2-on-1. Boudreau on the back check, not able to get it to the forehand. It's a good stick there by Boudreau. So he'll leave it for Svaneveld. Svaneveld as he settles it down here. A little under a minute left in the man advantage here as Cormier with it now. As he turns back. Puck just rolls off his stick, so he'll take a second to regroup. Mathieu Cormier comes up the right side as he goes rink wide for Laird. Laird gains the zone. Laird will peel back. He's got McGillis on the blue line, but he goes far side. Svaneveld the one time off the side of the net and into the netting. A quick shot there from Mason Svaneveld. 32 seconds remaining in the Limerick Electrical power play. 4:38 left on the clock in the third period, and the Thunderbirds holding that one-goal edge, 3-2 here, as you got Cormier, McGillis, Limburner out on that power play unit. And that draw is won by the Rebels and fired the length of the ice, so Laird back to pick it up here from Zachary David as he moves it to Svaneveld. Mason Svaneveld, he outlets to McGillis. McGillis is going to pick it up and come through the neutral zone. McGillis inside the zone under pressure as he plays it down deep. Limburner's going to pick it up here. Little communication error, communication breakdown here as we're at the end of the power play. Laird breaks that play up on the way to the net. Ends up onto the stick of McGillis as he plays it off the wall. Svaneveld there to chip it off, and now Laird will push it up to Limburner. Limburner plays it off the wall and out to center. McGillis still out there with Cormier as Svaneveld steps into his man. Laird sweeps it out to Limburner. Limburner, the one touch to McGillis. Rebels do control though now, and now Svaneveld will chip it off the glass and outside the zone. Rebels have to tag up onside here, so Svaneveld has a second, moves it over to Laird. Laird back to Svaneveld as he'll look up ice. Svaneveld through the neutral zone to Limburner. He'll sweep it in. Landry in on the forecheck with Mikel LeBlanc. Rebels go rink wide. They connect up the right side of the ice. That shot is easily gloved down there by David. 3:07 left in the third. And a D-zone draw to the left of Zachary David. As we are in the late stages of the third period here. Landry on the draw. He's been pretty solid in the dot tonight, and he wins it back for Boudreau. Boudreau, with a man on him, goes right to the end wall under pressure. And that puck will come out. One-time shot. Good kick save rebound. Another good kick save. And now that puck again will come to the point. Steered aside by Zachary David. Ward Levi there. Ends up onto the stick of the Rebels as they'll fire it down the length of the ice. David out to set it up there for Finney. Finney to Boudreau. Boudreau, as he tries to push it up the wall. And now Finney will step down there, chip it up for Mikel LeBlanc. Rebels control at the top of the zone here now as they skate themselves out of ice time. And now Boudreau behind the net. Rebels trying to go to work down low. Ends up on the stick of Mikel LeBlanc. He doubles back. A delayed penalty coming against the Rebels as Ward Levi moves it out to Landry, and the Rebels are going to tag up. Mikel LeBlanc takes a questionable contact here now, and the Rebels are going to go to the penalty box. 2:06 left in the third period, and we're on to the Limburner Electrical power play again. So that'll take the draw all the way to the opposite end of the ice. And I'll put Limburner, Cormier, and McGillis out there with Laird and Svaneveld. And McGillis on the draw. As it's won by the Rebels, and they'll rim it around. Held in there by Laird. As the Rebels will go wide here now. Zvonnevel back shot is gloved down by Zachary David. That's a 4-minute penalty, head contact, against the Rebels. With 1:53 remaining in the third. D-zone draw to the right of Zachary David. And it looks like the Rebels are going to call a timeout. Hey, teeing it up. A little timeout. Timeoutage. I wonder what the coach is maybe talking to his guys about. Maybe they could not take 6 minutes of penalties in the last 6 minutes of the third period.
That could be enough.
You know, in a 1-goal game. I think the fact was brought up when we played in Tyne Valley, and they maybe had a few local referees there, and there was a little bit more overlooked over there. And there was a comment made in the Sunday game that once these guys get out of their home rink, they tend to take a lot more penalties than they do at home, and it seems to be costing them right now. Yep. As the man advantage is in favor of the Thunderbirds. You see they got the goalie pulled now, Mario. Empty net as they play 5-on-5. Now McGillis on the draw. As he's going to win that back to Laird. Laird's going to outlet to Limburner. Limburner's going to look to clear the zone over center and does. And now the Rebels into the left side zone, streaking man. As Limburner's going to reach in there, and the Rebels have to regroup at center ice. Rebels go rink wide. Onto the stick of Laird. Laird to Limburner. Limburner plays to Laird. Laird stretches it out to center. And the Rebels are going to have to regroup again at center ice. They're playing 5-on-5, but with an empty net. Here is Cormier applies that pressure. Not really giving them a lane to exit their zone. That rink-wide pass off the mark. Zvonnevel plays it up the wall, and it's out off of a Rebels player, so that's going to move the draw in front of their bench. 59.8 seconds left in the third. Thunderbirds on the man advantage, though the Rebels have the goalie pulled, and they will put him back in for this draw. And they have about 7 players on the ice, so they're going to have to sort that out. As you got Walsh out there with Beliveau and Shediak, as that's one to Francis, who will put it on net. Rebels regrouping in their own zone. Walsh on the forecheck here. Now as the Thunderbirds do have the man advantage, Boudreau steps up to his man at the blue. Settled down by Beliveau as he chips it over center. Goalie out there again for the Rebels. 33 seconds remaining in the third period. As the Rebels come over center and into the zone. Walsh back, centering attempt broken up there by Francis, and now Boudreau able to clear it over center. Shediak on the forecheck here as he's going to be first. Gets the backhand wide of the goal, and Beliveau fires short side. That won't reach the net. Boudreau breaks that exit pass up, and now the Rebels, with 8 seconds remaining on the clock, do gain the zone, but right onto the stick of Francis as he fires it, not out of the zone, held in, shot is wide of the goal. And as time expires, the Thunderbirds roll out of the Greenfoot Energy Center with a big 3-2 comeback win against the first overall team in the league, the Western Rebels. And you know what? 3 unanswered goals by the Thunderbirds. So shots on goal after 60 minutes. Thunderbirds with 32. Rebels with, I'm not really sure because I was shooting my mouth off about the W. Nonetheless, a win is a win. We thank everybody for joining us, and we look forward to bringing you an exciting game tomorrow night as we play the Funday Thunder, weather permitting, as we'll travel down to Colchester, Nova Scotia to take on that Nova Scotia-based team. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you all tomorrow night. Cheers.